The heart of every man craves a great adventure, but life doesn't usually feel that way. Jesus speaks of narrow gates and wide roads, but the masculine journey is filled with many twists and turns. So how do we keep from losing heart while trying to find the good way when life feels more like a losing battle than something worth dying for? Grab your gear and come on a quest with your band of brothers who will serve as the guides in what we call the masculine journey. The masculine journey starts here now.
Welcome to the Masculine Journey. We're so glad that you are with us today. And if you're a regular listener, we're super excited. If you're a new listener, we're still super excited. And hopefully you will be after listening. So anyway, we are continuing in our foundation series. And the only thing that has perhaps more foundation stones in it than our foundational series, maybe the Tower of Babel, and that didn't turn out well for them. But, you know, the other day what was happening was Sam and Robbie and Harold and Art and Danny, they were all pushing one of those stones into place really strongly, and it rolled back on them, and now they're all gone. No, they're not here with us today, but they were not injured in the making of this program or the foundations. Or if they were injured, it was intentional by God, and He will also bring the healing. So, Andy,
yes,
take us down the road towards the next brick in our foundation.
Okay, so last week we did just the foundation of our identity as sons of God, and we followed that up. This was Sam's idea, but I think it was a good one because I'm so focused on the son and that identity that I don't even really think about this. But and you could say, well, that sounds like the same, but I'm talking about the foundation of being a child of God. And the distinction I see in the topic is, yes, Father, you're a father. He has affection for you. He teaches you things, passes on wisdom. But there's that place where you were born again to where you become a child of God. And what is it like for most of us when we receive that? You've heard adults and children receive God the same way, but it's usually as a child, or it is as a child, because it takes great faith to do it. But you have to humble yourself, but you have to have a spirit of wonder. And we're just going to kind of dig into that. I think it's a great topic to really get into, and there's plenty of scripture to back it up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the thing that first came to me was Matthew 18:3. Truly I say to you, unless you change and become, I never picked that up, unless you change. That's a repentance. And become like children, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. And so it's so important. That's our starting place. But we continue to be his child all the way until we go home with him, and we'll forever be his child. But we want to just delve into that. I think there's a lot there to unpack.
Yeah, last week we kind of focused on God as Father and you know, our role as sons, as you said. But this takes me in a different place too, and we talked about it before the show, and we'll kind of go there maybe throughout the show. But as a listener, I want to ask this question, and I'll ask it to you guys as well, and then we want to set up the first one, the first clip that we're going to use, which is one of Andy's clips, and one of Andy's clips. And so you'll understand that in a minute. But the question is, what makes you feel childish? Okay, emphasis on the ish. Not childlike, but what makes you feel childish? And so if you're listening right now, think about that, okay? And I'll just throw a few things out there. When my wife feels the need to say something to me that she would probably rather not say, but feels the need to have to enter in because maybe I've not been pulling my end of the bargain, I really feel childish very, very quickly there. Sometimes when I look at my finances and think, you know, I'm 61 years old, I ought to be here by, you know, my own measure, but I'm not. I'm here, and, you know, and it doesn't take very long for my own spirit or the enemy, perhaps, to begin to kind of beat up on me a little
Right.
bit and take me back to that childish place. So set up our next clip, Andy.
So Sam submitted this, and he did have some stuff come up with work and wasn't able to make it. But it's one of my favorite Andy Griffith Show clips there is. I think it's one of the classics, and it's where Opie, they're having a fundraiser at his school, and his dad hears that he's not actually contributing to what he should be giving. And there's just this whole dialogue that goes back, and it's really humorous. It's a shame you can't see the end of the show because Andy really gets into, where he realizes he kind of missed his child's heart. But you see this father-child relationship going back and forth. It's quite humorous, and we always like to start with something funny. So here you go.
Well, if it ain't Charlie Moneybags, the big philanthropist. How do you do?
What you talking about, Paul?
I'm talking about the underprivileged children's drive.
Oh, they collected for that at school, Paul.
Oh, I know they did. Oh, I know they did. And when they called your name, you gave the large, generous amount of 3 cents. My, that is big of you, Diamond Jim.
Did I give him too much, Paul?
Too much?
I could ask him to give back 2 cents.
Look here. We better talk about this thing. Now, look here, Opie. You can't give a little bitty piddling amount like 3 cents to a worthy cause like the underprivileged children's drive. I was reading here just the other day where there's somewhere like 400 needy boys in this county alone, or 1.5 boys per square mile.
There is?
It sure is.
I never seen one, Paul.
Never seen one what?
A half a boy.
Well, it's not really a half a boy. It's a ratio.
Horatio who?
Not whole ratio, a ratio. It's mathematics, arithmetic. Look now, Opie, just forget that part of it. Forget the part about the half a boy.
It's pretty hard to forget a thing like that, Paul.
Well, try.
Poor Horatio.
Now, Horatio is not the only needy boy. Son, didn't you ever give anybody anything just for the pleasure of it? Something you didn't want anything in return for?
Sure, just yesterday I gave my friend Jimmy something.
Now, that's fine. What'd you get him?
A sock in the head.
I meant charity.
I didn't charge him nothing.
I meant something for the joy of giving.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's classic. Shout out to Danny, too. I know he's submitted that a time or two, and being the Andy Griffith fan he is. But, there's no point there other than just the humor and the childlike understanding. The words, as a kid, when you first started hearing this gospel message, there was a lot of words that sounded like Horatio to you, right?
Yes.
And just starting out, and that's the process. God starts us out as a child where we know nothing, and he leads us, step by step into maturing into, or hopefully maturing into a mature Christian.
Yeah, I remember one of my professors in seminary said, every time the preacher would quote, which was pretty much every Sunday, rise and walk in newness of life. Well, he heard rise and walk with Eunice in life, and he wasn't sure who Eunice was and didn't definitely want to go anywhere with her. And so I definitely can understand where Opie was coming from. I love the fact that Opie has the childlike ability to, he's innocent. He doesn't know he's done anything wrong. He's not worried about it. Dad's a little concerned, and he's not living up to the Taylor reputation, if you will, or
Dad's
name.
the sheriff,
Yeah, that's kind of like being the preacher's kid, isn't it, Jim?
It may be, but they do come from different directions. The worst thing is if you're like me and you've done both. I started as a cop, I ended as a pastor, and I don't think anybody really wants to have fun with me.
If you'd have just been a lawyer as well.
I think one thing that really relates to this, the child has to be able to relearn again.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's some things I won't
life.
sink to.
Well, in this case, it's not an exact comparison to a child and God. Andy's got his deficiencies, and if you seen this. What Opie's holding back on is he's saving money for his little girlfriend to buy her a jacket. And at the very end of the show, they're eating dinner, and Aunt B asks, "What does everybody having?" And Andy was like, "Well, Aunt B and Opie are having chicken, but I'm having crow."
Yeah, right.
Because he's eating crow.
He was a little hard on his boy.
Yeah.
And, I totally can understand that. My children still, to this day, say, "Dad, that wasn't the way you were with us. You were, really hard here, really hard there." And the odd thing is I don't remember about 80% of those, which really scalds them that I don't remember. But I just tell them, I try to forget traumatic things. And evidently it was traumatic for you,
right.
So I forgot it.
Just be happy your dad grew out of it.
That's exactly right. And that's questionable at times, I'm sure. My grandchildren might testify to that. I think I have become favorite grandfather status, but that doesn't mean that I'm still not really, really broken in that regard. So I asked the question, what makes you feel childish, Jim?
Well, you actually reminded me of yet another one. But I'm going to start with fear.
Okay.
I have, anytime there's something afraid of, I feel like, I can't handle this, so I must be a kid. But you reminded me of having my wife correct me, which takes me back to the transactional analysis of parent and child. And that takes me to my reaction. But that's your next question, which we'll get to after.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Grant? What makes you feel childish?
Same subject. If I can't relearn.
Okay. So if somebody's kind of saying you should know this, you should...
No, that I can't.
Okay.
Ignore them.
All right. Well, we're going to pick back up on our hero, Grant, and Andy and Jim and myself here in a few minutes. Right now, we would like to invite you to come to a Masculine Journey Advanced Boot Camp that's coming up November the 19th through the 22nd.
What we have at our boot camp is something that makes you stronger and gives you the strength to go on your regular walk with God. It's something that will make you be bigger than you were when you got there.
I listened to Morgan Snyder's book, Driving to Work, last year, and that was a very profound experience. So this kind of culminated into it. I'd been invited to it several times, and it never worked out, and God really had it set up that I came last time. So coming into this one, I knew this one went deeper, and I really wanted it. It's a break for me to get outside of things I've got going on, and I just needed a break from it and needed to reconnect, and it's been absolutely that, this process. The covenant of silent prayer, those are some of my favorite parts. This is real connection with the Lord. You can hear him speak, you can get direction, guidance, anything you're missing is there. You always learn something new. It's fun experiencing it with the other men. It's fun standing for them and what they're going through. We're all different and unique, but we're all going through the same struggles, and when you hear somebody else went through it too, it kind of gives you an encouragement that, hey, you can make it through this, and God's got you, and he's going to hold you up through it, and he's going to carry you to the next level.
Register today at masculinejourney.org.
I've been born again to a family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear.
That is one of our favorite songs at boot camp and other things. Andy, why did you pick that?
Just it had the message. It's from Romans 8:15. I won't read that again because it was right there in the lyrics. But it's Jonathan David Heltzer, friend of the family of Danny's. But they have put out some great music. It's called No Longer Slaves. But that's the shift. You think about this, the progression. You don't think a child would be their entryway into the kingdom of God wouldn't be as a slave, but we were all born as slaves of sin, right? So we're no longer those slaves of sin once we are born into the kingdom. And I love that part of it where he's talking about where you have God's blood flowing through our veins, and just the newness of life. Sometimes we get so comfortable in our salvation over the years or whatever, we don't have that newness and feeling. But a child with wonder would constantly sees that again over and over in their life. God's did something new. It's like being born again each time. That God does something in your life. So.
Yeah, and we're not talking about the childlike spirit that refuses to believe reality, right?
Yep.
And I don't even want to compare it to like Santa Claus or something like that. But not that that's bad. I love the fact that children, love Santa Claus and believe in Santa Claus and all of that. However, we're just talking about the innocence of their heart. It's not been polluted. It's not been thwarted. It's not been wounded to the point where it's calloused and broken and does not want to accept some of these truths because of the implications of that. Well, if I accept that, that means I'm broken. If I accept that I'm a sinner and that I need to be saved, that means I've done something wrong. And we don't live in a society that really believes in having done anything wrong anymore. So, Jim, you've got the next clip that's coming from the TV show The Chosen.
It is, and it's a very early episode. And this actually, and as I told them, this isn't biblical, but it sure is Jesus. And what we're doing is listening to Jesus before he has started his ministry. And he was camping out by himself in the woods, and some children found him. And this is after a couple of encounters, and they are getting taught by Jesus, and as children are eating it up.
Things about Scripture that you cannot understand yet, and that is okay, that is fine. You have many years ahead of you, and God does not reveal all things at once. But children, what if many of the things that our people think about how we are to behave and how we are to treat one another are wrong? You want things to be fair. When someone wrongs you, you want to right it. And you know who else loves justice? But what does the Lord say in the law of Moses about justice and vengeance?
Vengeance is mine.
Yes, very good. Very good. Boys, pay attention. She doesn't even go to Torah class, huh? The Lord loves justice, but maybe it is not ours to handle. Do you remember when David had the chance to kill King Saul, who was evil to him? But he didn't. Saul was God's anointed, and it was not the right time for justice. And God says he will have compassion on his people when... what? Let's see if someone who studies this at school is learning, huh?
When their strength is gone?
Yes, very good. So, maybe we let God provide the justice. Maybe we handle these things in a different way, not trying to be the strongest all the time.
Even Messiah?
You will have to see. But do not expect Messiah to arrive in Jerusalem on a tall horse carrying weapons. And he will be most pleased with those of you who are the peacemakers.
That particularly struck home for me on two levels. I wanted to know everything as a kid, and at times I still do. And this opens with you're not going to know everything, and that's okay. You'll get it when you need it from God. And the other was my name for this year happens to be Peacemaker, which is how that ended up. And that's a hard thing to jump into, and I did have an opportunity to do a little bit of that today with a call out of the blue from somebody that remembers me as Pastor Jim. But one of the things about knowing everything, I think and I've heard others say this as well, but for me, the biggest thing I learned in going to divinity school was how little I knew. I thought I had a pretty good grasp of the Bible before going, but I'm still just scratching the surface, and that's what children do.
I love the fact that when children are being mean to children, they're trying to make each other feel childish. Sometimes when, as a parent, we guilt trip our kids by saying you're being childish or something like that, Jesus is doing the exact opposite. He is giving these kids room to grow. He's given them the opportunity to say things that may be right, may be wrong, but he's not, berating them for it at all, and not even really making fun or teasing or anything like that. He's very kind and compassionate. And so, honestly, I asked the question, what makes you feel childish, Andy? What takes you there?
My first reaction, what I said was emotional fits. And if you think about it, you're like, oh, hopefully we're not that. But, I spent a big part of my life going to the places I did as a kid, probably even worse sometimes, actually, because you didn't know, whenever things didn't turn out that way, people didn't see things the way you saw them, you reacted in anger. Whenever I found God truly as my Father, I think that's one of the things that he came in the most of is a feeling of strength that came from him, that even though I still get frustrated and all, my fuse is much shorter or much longer, and I lean into him. I think we talked about this earlier. When I do have those emotional fits, because we all do, I think, is to do the check engine light, see what's going on in the inside. But I think that's the thing is I feel the most mature, or what you asked the question, how do I most feel childish? That would be it. But
so how do you react to that?
Right. It's just check the engine and really see what is going on there in my life. And a lot of times I just tap back into, God gave me the name. My new name essentially is strength, and I never felt strength before. Well, when God gives you something like a name like that, it gives you the ability to live into it. It's what you were talking about, stretching those kids up.
Right.
So, it's sad to say that is, but we all learn a way to live in the reaction to how we deal with things as we come up. And when we're older, we tend to default back to what we were doing as that young child who was lost their innocence.
And we have an enemy, and that enemy
Absolutely.
wants us to respond out of that childishness,
right,
out of that lostness, orphan spirit, all of those different things, and get mad, and then make an idiot out of ourselves, and then be ashamed of it, and then have to deal with it.
Feel like you should be crawling around on your belly on the ground. Yeah.
And so the biggest thing we can do, the most mature thing we can do, is have the childlike spirit to say, but wait, I have God's blood flowing through my veins. I am a child of God. I might be a broken child at this point, but I'm still a child of God.
Right.
And God is changing all of that stuff. Grant?
As a child, you realize you don't know it all, but can you learn?
Yep.
Yeah. And, I think now that I'm an adult, I realize how much I don't know, as Jim was saying. I got out of seminary and thought, oh, no, now I have to actually, teach people and stuff. I know nothing. We're going to play another clip that comes from the show Young Sheldon, which, again, Danny submitted this clip thinking he was going to be here tonight, and Danny's not feeling well. If you're a regular listener, you know the struggles that he's been going through, and we would invite you to be praying for him earnestly in that. But the clip comes from Young Sheldon, and it's ultimately where Sheldon gets invited out to California to a college and to meet his hero, Stephen Hawking, and to experience that sort of thing as a young man. And he's very, very mature knowledge-wise, but he's very immature as a human being. And he's never flown on a plane before, which doesn't seem to affect him at all until he gets on the plane. And so here you're going to see how he and his father relate.
The stewardess.
Yeah.
Should the cabin experience sudden pressure loss, oxygen masks will drop down from above your seat.
Why would the cabin lose pressure?
Place the mask over your mouth and nose like this. Pull the strap to tighten it. If you are traveling with children, make sure that your own mask is on first before helping your child.
I don't like this at all.
Well, it's just a precaution. Perfectly safe.
In the unlikely event of a water landing and evacuation, leave your water landing.
I can't do this.
Let them come out of there.
No!
At least open the door.
Tell them I need to get off.
Sir, you both need to return to your seats.
Just 1 second.
Sir.
If you want to see Stephen Hawking, we have to sit down right now.
It's too dangerous. I can't.
It's okay to be scared. That's when you gotta dig deep and be brave. What do you say?
No! I'm your terrified little boy.
Okay.
Sir, please, they're gonna call security.
Just 1 more second.
So you hear, Sheldon's dad coming after his heart, and they start working on how do we deal with this situation. And we'll play more of that clip in the next segment in the after hours. And so we want to invite you to join us in the after hours. But if you've been to a boot camp of ours or one of the others in this message, we would love to invite you to come to the Masculine Journey Advanced Boot Camp, November the 9th through the 22nd. Go to Masculine
19th.
Journey. November the 19th through the 22nd. Go to masculinejourney.org.